Wednesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Mariah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Obiajulu in the
Hi, excellent morning, ladies. Thank you. Thank you. So, winding down to my own holiday. Yeah, I'm going for yours now. So, absolutely. Let me do the holiday. So, we're just getting ready to have like a 2 weeks vacation. Nima, don't be sad. Yeah, it's just 2 weeks. It's not 3 weeks you spend. 2 weeks and I'm back. So
in a different country.
Yeah.
Oh,
and,
wow.
So we're just doing a lot of rushy packing and all that. We would have gone earlier, but Oga wasn't released in his office initially, so I was supposed to go just with the kids. But he found a way to promise that he would be working while he's on vacation and said they gave him 2 weeks. So we're going to be doing that this holiday, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm wearing Ankara all through.
People should just bring my award. My award for the most committed, most hardworking,
why are you clapping? Does she not take, when she's fasting, does she not go home?
That's the only time in the year I get a break.
Something now. My own is not the only time.
I
don't understand, though.
Are you going to give me the award or no? Don't mind this. That's all. More than deserve it.
You deserve it.
At you. I'm fine. No, I'm just grateful to God. I've been through a lot for the past week. I'm hoping that, God comes in at some point and relieves and does a miracle. I actually do need a miracle right now.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that comes in. I'm not showing what I've been through.
Yeah.
I got home late yesterday. There was so much traffic on the Apapa-Oshodi Expressway due to the construction. So I think the best thing is to have a proper regulation of traffic so that we don't sleep on the road. It's dangerous to be there at night just to get into the house. I'm grateful. I'm just grateful.
Some will say it's also equally dangerous for even the last mile officials to stay there that late because they should be there 24 hours really to protect you. But
no, last mile works 24 hours.
Yeah, but I'm saying sometimes they're not there at night.
No, it's the road safety that closes. Okay. For the last mile on Festac, I always give them thumbs up every time.
You see them every time.
So well. So I think that what they need is more protection from police because you see police, they're adding to the traffic. They don't ease it. In fact, annoyingly, at the trade fair complex yesterday, there was serious traffic because police was just looking at us like this while people were boldly doing one way, aiding them. And when you try to join, they will then come. They aid them every time. We don't have to sit in traffic like that. I hope the Commissioner of Police would call that in.
Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, we're going to start with the nation. PDP crisis. Stop bragging, Lamido tells Wike supporters and supporters. ASU plans indefinite strike. Nigeria-US signed pact on return of the $23.4 million Abacha loot. This is never-ending Abacha loot. Flooding. Presidency queries states on ecological funds. Why I stoned my sons to death. $33 million power deal. Finance power ministries to face reps. INEC, EFCC disagree on Electoral Offences Commission bill. Zenith posts 405 billion naira gross earnings in 6 months. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Let me start with the human interest in the nation. So this story caught my attention. A man stoned his 2 sons, not 1. to death. This is the most deliberate murder that I have seen recently within domestic, as a domestic violence. So his name is Elisha Tari. He says that he was having a conversation with his children, 2 boys, under 5 years, both of them, and he was asking them to say God, and the children playfully kept saying fire. I asked them to say God, and they kept saying fire. This 25-year-old man decided from Michika Council in, what is the state again, Adamawa, decided to continue. He's supposed to be like a local musician that sings within that village where he stays, and he kept saying to his children, say God, say God. The children just kept saying fire, and that provoked him. He picked up stones, heavy stones, and targeted the heads of the children, each of them, like that, and killed them. Now, in the story, there's traces of him being a user of drugs in their home, and they're thinking, or maybe alcohol, something must have, or the tramadol, or any of the other drugs that he uses that would have triggered it. But this is the worst case of domestic violence that I've seen recently.
Yeah, so there's likely to be a last-minute change, and the Academic Staff Union of Universities also are saying that they will likely declare an indefinite strike over the federal government's failure to meet its demands. They said that most of the 123 branches of the union completed their congresses, and others are supposed to complete theirs today. And while they were having all of those congresses, everybody was voting for nothing more than an indefinite strike that they will be carrying out. And they said at the end of the day, they will collate the report. That's the NEC. Will collate the report, and then they will decide whether they are going to go on this strike or not. They said, according to the Minister of Education, that one of the things stalling their negotiation is the fact that the lecturers are refusing not to be paid their 6 months salary for a work that they did not do. And he had presented it to the president, which was rejected. And so ASU is also alleging that what they notice is that some undertakers of privatization are waiting for the universities to fail so that they would take them over, that is the conspiracy that is going on. And there's a plan to deny children of the poor access to university education. And that is what they are seeing, and they are putting their feet down to say that we must get everything that we have asked for us to resume the strike, or everybody should just go home. This is becoming scarier by the day, and I don't know what we can, tell the students who are likely not going to be going to school this year if they go by this indefinite strike, what they can begin to do, maybe go online, get some free courses, just keep themselves busy, because I don't know how the pendulum will swing when it comes to ASU and the federal
Interestingly, when I had traveled, there was a Nigerian who was saying that he was so impressed by Nigerian young people that he was able to hire 2 people. Is it digital marketing or something, or business? He's paying them in pounds. They learned it, and he was asking them, how did you learn? They said they learned it online.
Online.
They learned it, and he's paying them for the work they're doing. So there are opportunities online for people to learn and then earn.
Free courses everywhere.
I wanted to take...
I was going to take one more story in the major headline, because I've been following this PDP crisis for a while, and I'm surprised that it's yet to stop. Let me see. So the crisis continued as the governor of Jigawa State, Sule Lamido, was accusing the River State governor that he's being an emperor. The former governor of Jigawa State was accusing the governor, Wike, saying that he's the emperor of River State. That listen, you only have, by next year, your term is over. Stop acting, stop bugaing. That by this time next year, you are out of office. So the influence you think you are wielding right now in the next few months is done. Yeah. That he needs to come back to the negotiation table. He was actually faulting the fact that they're yet to stop. And I have a consensus on this issue, because Wike now is traveling, and there's reports that he went to France. He might be meeting Ashwaju in the abroad. We don't know what's going on, but the way he's skirting around other parties, the party members are saying, listen, yes, you have influence. Yes, we need River State. Yes, we need your influence.
But tone it down.
Calm down. In the next few months, you're going to...
I think the PDP is a very unserious party, and they don't learn from their past mistakes. The House Committee on Finance that I took their story yesterday on this $33 million take or pay payment to one power generation company, continued. This time around, they have, decided to summon everybody, summon the Minister for Finance, summon the Bureau of Public Procurement, the Niger Delta Power Holding Company, they've summoned the Nigerian Bulk Electricity Company, the TCN, and the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission, NEC. They've summoned everybody because it still doesn't make sense that, that company is now defending themselves for why they are unable to meet at least 450 megawatts electricity daily. According to them, they said that they had to evacuate something. So one transmission line had not been completed. And that transmission line is supposed to carry power from Benin to Osogbo. It's called the Benin-Osogbo transmission line. And due to that transmission line not being completed, they are unable to meet the target for which they are being paid $33 million monthly. And so they are still being paid the money that's, and then they're claiming a frustration to their meeting their own side of their commitment to that contract. So I believe that the House of Reps should stay on this issue. If you're unable to meet your target with a difficulty, and that difficulty has not been met, why then do you want to go and sign a take or pay? So it's a win-win situation for you. Nigeria no good. Ogata. Mentality. So this is taxpayers' money, Nigerians' money. $3 million is not chicken change that they'll be paying you for not generating anything. I think they should stay on this. All agencies summoned plus more should be summoned on this. Let's get to the root of things.
Okay. All right, let's move on. The Punch. Tinubu Wike meets in UK, PDP talks wobble. Picture story here. Truck crashes in Lagos Ibadan Expressway Bridge causes gridlock. Cultists shoot rival dead in Lagos restaurant. Suspects nabbed. 12 NNPP supporters, passengers die in Nasarawa Ondo crashes. PDP assembles 100 witnesses, says Oyetola's petition time wasting. Recovered Abacha loot hits $334 million. US condemns corruption. ASU parents propose 10,000 naira support levy for varsities. And PSC workers threaten strike. Commission suspends recruitment. Okay, so yesterday we are still recovering Abacha's. Hey, in fact, when I think
this
of
money
Abacha,
no ever finish.
I'm telling you. So yesterday, the ambassador, the U.S. ambassador to Nigeria, Mary Leonard, was signing they were signing. I think they were doing the signing of the agreements with the federal government for the repatriation of the $23 million. Was saying that in total they have repatriated $334 million Abacha loot, and it's saying that this distorts the economics and access to levy services. It hinders development, pushes citizens towards extremism, and makes countries and other officials susceptible to malicious foreign interference. And they were just going on and on with the fact that the role of corruption, how endemic corruption has become, and what the effects of corruption in our economy. Saying that hopefully this now, but nobody talked about what this money will be used. So $23 million have been added so far to the money, making it $334 million since Abacha. Where did Abacha go now?
Shouldn't they give this money to us?
This is 24 years ago, and so
we're still recovering the money.
How much did this man take?
And they're not giving us interest, though.
Okay, let's go on a quick break. When I come back, we'll continue with the review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch.
Punch, yes, I have a story here. So 3 suspected members of the Klansman confraternity have been arrested by men of the Lagos State Police Command for allegedly shooting a member of the Eye confraternity, Akinola Ayebusi, to death in a restaurant at Alapere area of the state. And they said that normal activities were ongoing on the day when the suspects, who were said to be on a revenge mission, trailed Ayebusi to the front of a restaurant. While he ran in, they were armed with cutlasses and guns, and they started hitting him in the restaurant. That destabilized the people who were relaxing in the room. Everybody was running helter-skelter. They finally killed him and then ran away. but some people were able to report to the police, and police has trailed them. Out of 6 of them that came for that, 3 have been arrested. The police is promising to get the remaining 3. So the investigation is still ongoing. They said they recovered guns from them and other ammunitions. And in the course of questioning, they said that they were trying to revenge the death of their own leader that was killed in November 2021. That's the Aye confraternity, and that's why they decided to kill this particular person. So hopefully they'll be able to get the remaining 3 who have absconded, and they'll be arraigned in court.
For murder.
For murder.
Then they'll increase the death row waiting list because they murdered outright.
Okay.
Truck crashes into Lagos by the expressway. So this story, I did not see the story inside, but Punch reported that the truck had crashed into the rail at barricade inward towards Ibadan on the Lagos-Ibadan expressway, leaving commuters in hardship. It had happened on Monday, and by Tuesday it had caused major gridlock at that spot. The picture shows that, you know, the truck was being removed after a while. And so Punch used that story to develop how commuters are suffering hardship, people talking about how the works on that road should be done at night, in the middle of the night, and, you know, is people's hardship in the morning.
See, but you see, I get worried when things like that happen. We're so quick to point fingers. And this is what got me in trouble the last time, where they were saying that Julius Berger thing. Listen, they put a barricade. It means that they're working on the road. You, as a commuter, first of all, you are the driver. Are you, first of all, composed enough to drive? Can you see the barricades? Can you see the detours? Many of us don't see that. And then this truck rammed into a barricade. He's not supposed to go there. All over the world, there are barricades where they're fixing roads.
The story says maybe due to brake failure.
Exactly.
But
so how is that now
think
do work in the night?
It's been raining a bit. I don't know if it's raining in your area. It's been raining. Careful driving.
Simple. You already take responsibility first.
The barricade
because of the barricade at
already existing.
Yes, there will be barricades. You're going to fix the road.
You're
going to fix the road.
Just drive.
Okay, they put barricade. They will before uncle. Moving on to Daily Sun.
Yeah, back up.
Ballot, this is true now. It's really annoying. Ballot snatchers, vote buyers, risk 20 years, 15 years jail terms. IPOB goes after kidnappers of 4 Reverend sisters. Buhari reiterates commitments to tackle banditry and terrorism. Fake news, misinformation, exacerbating insecurity, says federal government. Court officers, police impound Andy Uba's cars over debt owed Arthur Eze. PDP BOT chair insists IU should go. And US Science Park with FG to return the $23 million Abacha loot, which BC is saying they should just give to us. So once they get that money, they should give it to us.
Please.
In fact, if we can even make that headline.
Yeah.
$23 million Abacha loot handed over
give
to
it
us.
to them. They
Simple.
monitor what they are doing.
Life is easy. You know, everybody goes back
so that
to work.
Students can go back to school. It's just annoying.
Okay, good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Which story are we taking in the Daily Sun?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, I took the Andy Uba story. I found it interesting that, you know, I'm reading about a court enforcement of a judgment inside the papers. So Andy Uba had taken a 50 million naira loan from Parental Petroleum Limited belonging to Arthur Eze, the popular billionaire, Igbo billionaire, and he did not pay back. So the Arthur went to court and enforced the judgment, and they went into his property in Abuja, Sokoro, and cleared cars to enforce that judgment. I just found it interesting, Sha. It's just gossip, just.
So the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, are vowing to go after the government who abducted 4 Catholic Reverend sisters recently at Omulolo in Okigwe local government area of Imo State. And according to their spokesperson, Ima Power, was saying that the abductors need to release these female clerics. They did not do anything to deserve such treatment, and they are going to comb all the bushes to ensure that they get these women out. They said they'll be using the help of the Eastern Security Network, which is theirs, to comb these bushes. They also said that they realized that a lot of banditry is happening in that area, and they are not the ones responsible for it. They said they do not have a camp at Enugu Ezike in Enugu State because there's been a rumor that they are camped there. They said they are not the ones. They have not recruited any member of IPOB or into the Eastern Security Network in the last 2 years. So all those people who are going around using their name to perpetrate acts are pure criminals, and the federal government needs to focus on that and fish them out. They said that the Igbo people do not kill their own. They are not asking anybody to bring money to come and be a part of IPOB. People are just volunteering to support. And they cannot stop people who say they want to fight for Biafra. There's also another group that is trying to impersonate IPOB who are fighting for Biafra. They say it's not their job to stop people who want to fight for Biafra, but they should not lie using their names. Everybody should stand with their own name. They said there's, I think one of the groups is called Autopilot something, that are going around saying that they are also IPOB as well. Okay, so I took the story, the Honorable Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, was speaking at a conference organized, at a summit organized by the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. He was saying that the fake news is part of what is exacerbating the issue of insecurity. That yes, our soldiers are there paying the ultimate price, but yet fake news actually facilitates or even makes this, exacerbates this in the this issue of insecurity. He was saying specifically that the twin evil of fake news and misinformation have fueled apprehension and anxiety in the country. And he gave examples. He cited about 2 or 3 examples. One of which was back in August 10th, where the Kaduna State governor had debunked an online report claiming that hundreds of bandits had laid siege at the Kaduna-Zaria road. He also said that the fake news advised travelers not to enter Zaria due to the presence of bandits in Dubai. They found out that was fake news. He also referenced the story where they said there was a drone that was seen around. I think that was that story where they said there were some people wearing red, cooking somewhere. Video showing a group of 5 men wearing red clothes, cooking inside unknown forest, went viral. Thinking, those are the bandits. They now found that, I think when BBC now did an investigation, found out that it wasn't even in Nigeria. So these fake news, they feel the anger, the anxiety of Nigerians, and get people more angry. So, and it totally even it worsens the efforts of our boys who are out there paying the ultimate price for our safety. So it makes it difficult for them to even move forward in the fight against insurgency.
Flying around on WhatsApp, people sending it around of burnt bodies and saying that Nigerian soldiers killed people up east. And that's the worst kind of fake news, because if you find the source of that video, it goes all the way to the Central Republic of Congo, their religious issue. And that picture, they keep recycling it and claiming it happened here in Nigeria.
Okay, let's move on quickly. Let's see how much time we have left. Just 2 minutes. Let's move on to the Nigerian Tribune. Let's find a story we've not taken. Police arrest 2 soldiers over murder of Islamic cleric in UB. About any move to sell Polaris Bank, group pleads with Buhari. Let's find another story. ASU holds state congresses nationwide tomorrow to decide on strike. Governors should account for state-level emergency funds collected, says presidency. Osun government talks tough over political assassination. Okay, which story?
A civil rights advocacy group, Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, are appealing to the President Muhammadu Buhari, to halt alleged plans to sell Polaris Bank. They said they got the reports from an online platform that the central bank has perfected the plan to sell the bank under the pretense that it's alleged distress, that the bank is in distress. So they are asking that the federal government, that's our president, waits into the matter and stops the sale. They are also saying that if the bank is sold, it will not only generate fear in the money market, but it will also worsen the harsh economic climate in the country. And if they have issues, they need to resolve it instead of just resorting to selling the bank. And that is what they are suspecting. Some people are planning so that they can take ownership of the bank. And so government needs to do something to stop this. Okay, so basically.
I have the story of the governors should account for.
Oh, yeah, I have that story. Go ahead.
Go on. You take it.
And so what happened was it was Garba Shehu that was saying that ecological funds are given to the governors. So when they have issues of flooding, erosion, that yes, federal government is like a second responder. So their own is that they can come to support you. But the state governors, they are the first responder. Your job is to fix issues of flooding, erosion within your jurisdiction. That there are 3 levels of government. So according to the law, their job as federal government is to support. So what are you doing with the ecological funds? So they're not going to start asking each of the governors. They are coming to us saying that we should come and help you with the flooding, and this basically, we come by federal government to come and help us. Yeah, you, first of all, as a governor, your job, because you have the funds to fix the flooding within your state. And he has also pointed out other states are doing some work. So those ones that are doing some work, they can actually support those. But you have not done anything. We need to find out what you're doing with your ecological funds. That's pretty much that. So is there one to add anything to it?
No, nothing.
Okay.
Let me quickly take the 2 soldiers arrested. So 2 soldiers, a Lance Corporal John Gabriel, and another soldier that was his accomplice, killed a sheikh, Isimi Goni, and took his car. And in this, the police were able to arrest them, and they were giving account of how he was killed. They said that the intention that morning at their checkpoint was to take any car that they see and, take it away. So they deployed a way to distract the owner of the car, deceive him that his car had a fault. While he was checking, they shot him and took his car. These are very Nigeria here. And then they sold the car for their own various purposes, which they use. I'm happy that they've been arrested. At least we'll know for now that, the police can't intervene in national issues like crime like that. So whether it's a soldier that killed somebody or anybody else, it's the Nigerian police who should arrest and
okay, that's prosecuted. All we can take on Front Page Review. When we return, we move on to our hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So during the inauguration of the Orthopedic and Trauma Center at the Federal Medical Center, Lagos, the Minister of State for Health, Mr. Joseph Ekumankama, acknowledged that the mass relocation of health personnel was a problem and was becoming worrisome. According to him, the greatest challenge facing the sector presently is the doctors and nurses leaving the country. He appealed to them to please remain in Nigeria to see the efforts of the government. Now, what are your thoughts on this? Because Nigerians obviously are living in droves, looking for greener pastures outside the country, especially those within the medical and the, I would like to say, the digital sector. So what are your thoughts on this? You can call us on 081-270-53687, 091-390-76948. You can also tweet us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your view TVC so we can read your tweets. Okay, so for this conversation to go ahead, I can also remember a conversation I had with somebody who was telling me that people who are moving into the UK now are not the types. So they're educated. As they're entering, they're going straight into the workforce. It's not like those days where you come in, you go and do taxi first, you go and hustle here. There's not like that. They are coming in and in fact they're being poached. Some even if they do 1 or 2 year courses, they're going into what they mean, £50,000 a year. Look at those kind of jobs. So the same way, we're also losing highly skilled people to Canada. We're losing them to Australia. We're losing them to America. So let's remove the fact that people are going there to go and hustle. Not all of them are going there to go and hustle. So these guys in the health sector are moving on. What are your thoughts? Because the minister was saying something about patriotism, asking them to be patriotic to stay back. Do you think it's the right thing to ask them not to leave? Or do you think the onus is on them to become patriotic and say, you know what, I must stay?
Yeah, so for me, I like the fact that it was an appeal, I don't have the right to make a law to say don't go, but I'm just appealing. Is there any way we can work together and see how we can develop our country, especially in the healthcare system? Is there any way you can just suspend the plan to leave and let's all put our hands together and do this work? It's a very fantastic appeal. I like that. But I would also like that in making that appeal, because you are asking them to sacrifice their dreams of having a good life, doing the job that they love and being able to feed themselves and, take care of themselves and go to raise their children, have a good home, a decent car and all that. You are telling them to suspend that dream for a greener pasture, to fix your country because of patriotism. I would also like that you come to the table and show us what you yourself, who is appealing, is going to do concerning your side of patriotism. So you're coming to the table. I want you to stay. But I am willing to say that in this interim that we're all looking to work this country out, that none of our government officials will travel out. We'll stay here. We'll use the medical facilities so that we can monitor what we are doing, monitor and see the progress we are doing. I would also say that in this time that I'm asking you to stay, we'll make sure that we pay this, pay that, increase this hazard allowance, make sure that you have the facilities that you need, make sure that you have the proper treatment you have been clamoring for. Make sure that you have it. So you are working, you're staying back, and I'm putting in efforts to make it comfortable for you to stay back and do your work. Then I would understand that there's sincerity in this appeal. But don't come and blackmail me with patriotism when I'm not seeing you make any sacrifices.
Okay, so I hear that. But let me come to you, Nima, because I have a theory that you can't stop anybody from leaving. I don't even think it's a good strategy for government to stop us from leaving, because if you want to leave, you have to leave. Yeah. But in fact, I don't think it's beneficial to the country for people to leave to get more knowledge, better knowledge. However, what I think the strategy of government should be is to attract people back home. Because there are people who are there, who have learned the skills, who have seen they've seen the new modern way of health servicing. And they say, you know what, and many of them want to come home. They really want to relocate. They're done. Their children are now in university. They're all grown. And they're like, okay, I can't just be working here for all these years. I want to go back to Nigeria. But there's no enabling environment to attract them. So the strategy shouldn't be, don't go. The strategy should be, those of you that have gone, come back. This is what we are creating to let you be able to function in Nigeria. What do you think? Do you think that's the right strategy, or do you think we should still be patriotic and not leave at all?
So I think that's the right strategy, totally. And I actually think it's not just to win back, it's to keep. The number of doctors that we train here is still cheaper to train a doctor here. There are several cases they can use to train and learn here. So let's make it so lucrative that even when they go out to acquire additional skills, because most of the time when they go out to acquire additional skills, they don't come back. So your business is not to discourage those who already have businesses, who are already settled in those countries, and convince them to come back. Your business is to make it such that those who are trained here will be willing and love staying here. They will be content with staying here. Is the work condition okay? If they want to treat a person, do they have the implements and tools that they need at their beck and call? Or do patients still have to buy their gloves, buy this, buy that, so that the doctor will even be tired? You know, to assist the person, you're worried. Keep the working conditions, the facility where they need to work in the right condition. And see, some people will stay. When I was on bed rest, I used to say it. I saw 5 doctors leave within my watch. One of the reasons 2 of them left was that this place, we can't even, in the hospital when you're working, you can't even access things quickly that you need. You know, if patients are not willing to buy some things as basic, you can't get them. There's nothing really free about free medical care, you know. So let's put our money where our mouth is exactly. And that goes to everybody in government, because we hear patriotism, but the least patriotic people are those in government. Every time when you talk about patriotism, you are addressing the populace, people who already don't have a choice. People who are now looking at a better purchasing power by earning better. Or, you know, once you cross to Canada, of course you have a better purchasing opportunity. If you're earning 400 naira here, or 400, once you cross, it gets doubled in value of the money, and it's in dollars. And you're telling the person who's looking at housing, and their basic salary cannot even help them get the most basic housing. Even as it is now under our national housing scheme, what should they give you can't buy you an average house in Nigeria. So what exactly are we saying?
So what I'm saying is
that a person in civil service will not be encouraged, based on all of those things, to stay here. You can't sit on your salary and buy a car. You have to have PPPs that you're doing on the side. So these things don't just happen by flick of a finger. You can't just, the economy can just appeal. You can't just get them to be paid right salaries overnight. You can't get them, you can't match what they're earning in the UK to what they're earning in Nigeria. We can't do that. Our economy can't even handle it right now. So whether we like it or not,
they told you?
No, I'm just telling you, whether we like it or nobody's going to do it. No, I can't just say, okay, this morning I'm giving doctors that amount of money. Where's the money?
Shebi Abacha loot is there somewhere.
We just read into the papers today. Has the money entered your account?
Let it enter.
So the point I'm trying to make the point I'm trying to make is that let us stop this narrative of, okay, let us just give us this money.
First.
It doesn't work that way.
We know.
I'll tell you how it
It
works.
doesn't work that way.
I'll tell you how it works
What we need to do is to ensure.
I'll tell you how it works based on experience. My dad, before he moved to NNPC, working condition in the civil service was terrible. Then Pengassin rose up as a body and said the working conditions for people working in this area must be better. They are the best paid. Everybody started fighting to work in oil companies, to get NNPC slot, to get mobiles. People started fighting till today. It wasn't like that in the past. Some people sat down and said, no, this is a very key sector. And these people must be well remunerated. They fought for their health. They fought for their pension. It's one of the best paid.
Yeah.
So we know these things are doable. But does somebody have to choke you before you do the right thing? No.
Mariah, let me tell you that it's not like Nigerians are wishing that there's a magic wand that will just do like this and money appears. No. Even you in your, there's a process to everything. That's why I need to educate the Nigerians. Yes, there's a process to everything. So we need to see the sincerity of the government in making laws and implementing these laws. If they say we are all going to tighten our belts and ensure that we fix our healthcare system, and tomorrow we hear that our president has gone to another country to go and take care of himself, you are negating what you're saying. I've never heard across the world that the president of US went to China to go and treat himself, or the president of China went to Hong Kong to go and treat himself. Everybody stays in their country and pulls the resources within. And you make a law and you follow through that. The fact that you are in government means that you will sacrifice, at least let Nigeria get to a place where people from outside the country can come and use our facilities here. And you say, okay, maybe I want to just have a change. I want to go to Dubai tomorrow to have this aesthetic procedure and all that, and I don't want to use. But everybody in Nigeria can have access, and we're able to pull people from outside to make more money for the country. It just sort of stabilizes everything, and a common man will understand when you say be patriotic. And I also don't want to call people who have traveled not patriotic. That would be unfair to them. People travel because sometimes they do not have a choice. They just need to see that light. What we're asking for is the basics. Basic. You go to very small countries and you see them living very content because they have the basic. We don't have the basic in this country. To eat a 3-square meal, in fact, you must be a politician or you are doing something. That's the way it is right now.
When we come back, we continue with our conversation and take on phone calls. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing this matter of Nigerian leaving, especially those in the health sector, especially because the Minister of State was saying that we need to be patriotic, and that's what we want to discuss about. What exactly is patriotism? Because sometimes it's easy for us to point fingers, but I think we're all in this issue of, are we patriotic enough? Because in the various levels of our lives, everybody at some point have done things that does not enhance patriotism across our country, which is something we must also indict ourselves on. However, going back to this matter of patriotism, how do we define patriotism as a health worker?
Okay. What I understand based on this circumstance that we're talking about. So sometimes we elect a few of ourselves to manage our common wealth, our common resources. And so those few sit down and prioritize where A goes, B goes of our joint resources, and prioritizes which areas affects us more, and then share resources across board. And so when you see these same people come out and say, create a difficulty and say, no, there's no funds. What are the doctors on strike for? They don't, no funds. I remember when lecturers started to go on strike back when I was in school. State universities, we pay school fees. We were not like the federal ones whose hostel fees and all that was subsidized. And our lecturers were made to join the strike. And one of the grievances was that, look at how we work. We write theses, we do research, we do all of that. We don't leave this sport. We can't grow. Our houses we can't afford so many things. And we see the politicians, when we have to go and write speeches for them, how they live. They come into school to sponsor maybe one course or one event or the other in big cars with all the security. And we believe that if they can afford this for themselves, which is not from their direct funds, they can also do better for, for workers per sector. So you'd expect that these people sitting down will be thinking, how will the pensions be taken without us having to strike? But we saw that back then, they would allow people to finish retiring and not pay them pension. So what is that person really living for? And when people start to lose hope at life like that, they will look for better lives, alternatives for themselves. If you have a company, you're not doing better for your staff, you can't blame the staff when that staff has to go. Whenever that staff has to do better for themselves, you have to support them to go. Or you do better to keep them. You motivate people to stay with you. You give them things that, will keep them. And so the least patriotic, like I said earlier, are the select few that we have selected to manage our common resources. Who should do better. Okay. They should prioritize health. If health becomes an emergency in this country, there'll be a problem. Listen,
a lot of things are being prioritized. Education is prioritized. Trust me, our children are home. So everybody can now say...
No, maybe it is an indirect way to manage population. You want people to just die.
Okay, let me...
Because if it is not prioritized...
No, I'm just telling you that everybody can make an argument. Because I would say I've been home for 160-something days. So our children are home. So I agree with you. Health is equally important. I'm just saying, like, there are so many priorities across. We can actually debate that. Let me take Abacha and I'll come to UBC. Good morning, Basi. Are you there?
Yeah, yeah.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Basi.
Sir.
I have a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, you're talking about people in the medical field leaving the country. Hello?
Yes.
You were talking. Yeah, you were talking about people in the medical field leaving the country. Hello, Morayo.
Please continue now. We can hear you.
TV,
go ahead.
Go ahead. Yes, so I had to quickly get the meaning of devotion, the meaning of patriotism right now, so that we have a context to what we're talking about. And it means devotion to and vigorous support for one's country. This is irrespective of your location. Because we have a lot of Nigerians who have traveled because they needed to make ends meet, went overseas. All their funds, they are repatriating it back to the country. They are sending money home. They are feeding people. They are building houses. They are setting up businesses. They are not doing anything. They are not investing anything there. They are bringing the investment back here.
Not all.
Yes, some of them are doing that. And that is patriotism. They are there, but they have their country at heart. And when I have conversations with people abroad, most of them envy us that are still here. Like, I wish I knew. I would have just tried to make it better. I wish I can just come back. And my heart is in that country. They want to come back. But because it was difficult for them, for some people, some things are just a bit easier. Your part is just a bit, easier for you to just get the job, even though the money is not that much. You just find a way. For others, they have got, even those that have first class, second class, upper, no way to just make it till they left. And they started doing, hold on, no, please. And they started doing well there. And now they are repatriating those funds here. Meanwhile, your government, they don't have businesses here. Most of them have their businesses. If you go, the first time I went to Dubai, there were malls that the Dubai taxi drivers were calling out and saying, is your minister, oh, you're from Nigeria. That is your minister's mall. That is your governor's mall. That is your president's mall. They were calling out specific malls owned by Nigerians. Why didn't they set up those businesses here? And we're talking patriotism.
And those politicians or businessmen?
Politicians. We're talking patriotism. So if you have to appeal to Nigerians that you need to be patriotic, understand that, first of all, it's about devotion from the heart. Wherever I find myself, I am for Nigeria. And I will do everything in my power to make Nigeria work. What are you doing to show us that you're serious about this patriotism you're preaching?
Let me take this call from Hassan. Hassan, are you there? Good morning.
Good morning, Morayo.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good. You see, I can see this issue of brain drain from three angles. One, unemployment in the country can justify people leaving the country abroad. That's why it's justified. But people on the paid job, professional jobs, leaving the country, I saw it from the angle, from the premise of first-class struggle in this side of the country. People are this kind of class struggle I want to belong to. Let me go abroad. You are on a paid job that people are even bribing the employer to get them there, and you are leaving the country over there. You see, on this medical ground, there should be a law that will make it compulsory that after your graduation, you must work for humanity in your country for more than 10 years for you to move to another country. That is from patriotic ground.
Yeah.
But you see, people, the way they see it here, even ministers, you see their children abroad, their wives abroad, and they are part of our problems here. Then how do you rationalize it? Because in this Lagos, I know very well, it's an engine for you to have a relative abroad. So it's a passion. It's no longer a matter of, I like my country, I want to go and have a better place somewhere. It's not about that. How do you rationalize a minister with his children abroad, working abroad? How do you rationalize a head of state with his children and family abroad? And he's living here, seafood. Most people, that's what they do.
Thank you very much, Hassan. Sometimes when you travel, you see different things.
Yeah.
And you see how, for example, like many houses in the UK right now, they're very, very small houses.
Compact.
And it's because wealth is distributed. If our wealth was evenly distributed in our country, nobody would be building 5-bedroom house. I mean, there's no need for this big. I mean, it was so easy for me to wake up, clean the house. When I travel, mop, sweep. In something I won't do my house because I have a help. Because I have a bigger house. Do I need that kind of bigger house? How many rooms can I sleep? I mean, how many beds can I sleep at a time? How big do you need my kitchen to be? So when you go to a different country, you realize that they have small house because this wealth is even like many people. Yes, they are rich folks, but the basic needs that you said earlier, everybody has it. So when you talk about when leaders are taking funds and they are harnessing this, and you're talking about Abacha lose 24 years after. $34 million. I think it's yourself.
How many years
after? This is the issue Nigerians are having. So I get that. But I also need Nigerians to understand that we are not producing anything.
Yeah. We're consumers.
We are all consuming. A top of, I mean, who are these? Those who need foreign dollars to import are not having money to import. Why? Because some of us, unpatriotic like me, let me say my own first. I will say, please give me $1. I want to travel to UK for holiday. Can my economy afford me to travel to UK? No, that's the truth. Let's just be realistic with ourselves. Can our economy, should I, as a citizen? Okay, yes, I make some money, I want to travel, I want to have fun, yes. But if the state of our economy, do we really should we really be?
On the first
so no, I'm just trying, putting myself as we Nigerians, when we talk about patriotism, let us lay it on the table.
Does not mean
we are all not patriotic. All of us, we all have our issues. Because if you want to say, let us be patriotic, I shouldn't even leave this country at all. Because my economy cannot afford it, even though I can afford it with my money. But I shouldn't leave. I shouldn't be asking for money from the bank. Because the bank should rather give the person that wants to import maize to grow corn for the population over me who wants to go and do a
No. What is stopping the bank from not giving the person who wants to import
because we're not
maize?
Producing now. We're not having money to bring money. I'm not confusing it. I'm just saying that the reality, if you want to talk about patriotism, is on all levels. Let us not just point figure that it is you. No. We, all of us, are unpatriotic at some point, at some level.
I would explain. On the first point, it's like you shook hands inside my mouth when you took that point. But on the second one, it's a culture, and it starts from the top all the time. Some people made it seem trendy. Some people did not. We don't consume. In fact, we just recently in our hardship make some people they consume Paco biscuits.
Yeah,
locally produced.
Yeah,
they will eat at it and say, "Is that the biscuit you're offering? If you put it on a saucer and put a cup of tea that you can afford, maybe locally produced tea." Nobody, they will size up the residents. Right. If some people visit you and you're living in a modest house where you are comfortable, they will not consider it from comfort. They will consider it as affluence. Yeah. And it started from the top. So everybody, there's a saying in my language, people, everybody is struggling for the top. The top can accommodate all of us. We wanted the grandeur. We don't know king house again, different from common house again. Everybody in a king. This started from the top. It started from government. The culture started from government. Government whose healthcare is abroad started the culture. Before, The government whose health ear doctor is abroad started the culture. They're the ones who made it seem that alternative is there and you should take it.
Right.
If the alternatives, they themselves put it here, patriotism...
Which is what China did. They locked down their borders. They know everything, let us stay within first. After a few years, they now develop the economy.
Recently, whose doctor in Africa here, whose president was taking treatment within his country recently, and he made headlines. The country's citizens was praising the president. That president was simply setting a culture that our doctors here will do it.
Let me take this call from Yusuf and I come to UBC. Good morning, Yusuf. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Hello, good morning, all.
Good morning, sir.
I think there is no any country which will have meaningful development where education and health is relegated to the backdrop. In fact, education and health are key components of human security. And the issue of brain drain cut across so many fields, most especially within the medical sector as well as the academia. Nigerian doctors are one of the most thoroughbred doctors, well-trained, but due to poor enabling environment. Today we are talking about ASU strike. In fact, the medical doctors have equally issued a strike warning by 2 weeks extension. So you don't need the country seems not to know what are even its own priorities. When you mortgage your health, you mortgage education, in fact, no any meaningful development can be achieved because these are critical components of human security. It is only when you have good education. In fact, like what ASU is saying, which ASU is not even asking for money to be paid based on Europe standard. What is even the African average? You cannot attract money or you cannot attract forex. Right. When you are always on education tourism or medical tourism, when our children or the children of the rich are studying abroad, in fact, that's what ASU has been clamoring for. When you make it standard, people will not live. As I am speaking to you, people are living even the academia in drops. And it all boils down on the enabling environment to live. What is the African average? What is the scenario?
It's muffled. It's a bit muffled. I didn't hear that. I hope that our viewers heard him.
Yeah. So one of the reasons I don't want us to seem like we're confusing the conversation is everybody has a role to play, like you always mention here, and I agree with you on that. But there are roles that beget roles. There are roles that once they are sorted, every other thing will flow. It's like a father who has a family. There are certain things that you put in place, and every other person will align. I cannot be making decisions for my father in the house as a young girl who is growing up that, Daddy, you have to do it like this, you have to do it like... No, that's not my place. He has to set everything, set the tone on how every other person will align in the house. And that's what we're saying, that government needs to set that tone. People in US, UK and all of that, they save for vacation outside their country. As they're collecting their salary monthly and planning, paying their bills, they are saving for vacation. There was a time I was in Dubai. One of the people that we were in the plane were having a conversation. I said that as their money comes in, they're taking some pounds and keeping it aside because they've told themselves that there's a time to rest and they can travel around the world with their savings. You can follow through their process and get that. So that doesn't mean they're not patriotic to their country. They just want to be able to see life from other perspectives. That's on one side. Now, if there is no standard of living, that's where strife comes in. And most of us are right now, especially in Nigeria, in survival mode. People are just trying to survive. That is what we are seeing. Absolutely. And because the government is not doing what it needs to do, people are now struggling double to not just survive, but to ensure that their children and their children and their children's children survive.
Thank you for taking me there. Thank you for taking me there, because let me read this message from somebody. It says that, do you know that most of the skilled workers are relocating just to give their children a better education? Say that we can't let our patriotic attitude be a barrier to our children's growth and progression.
Nobody
I'm doing well here, but seeing my kids suffer for no fault of theirs hurts me daily, and I'd rather be there. So it's not because the school worker is not unpatriotic. It's like, this is my children. If I leave my child here, they'll be discussing us in the next 15, 20 years. So let me just carry myself and go, because it's not about me, it's about my children.
On YouTube here, as we're talking this morning, sorry, darling, on YouTube here, people were already asking questions. Which school should I send my children to? They have been sitting, one said they have been sitting at home. She has like about 3 of the kids. Sitting at home since ASU strike. She's thinking of sending them to one of these countries, maybe, Cotonou or so, just to do their education so that they can finish on. People are looking for options. Because even if you want to love other people, the scripture says, love your neighbor as yourself. We don't pay attention to that yourself.
Okay, let me go on a
know
quick
yourself
break.
first.
When we come back, we continue. We'll take a few calls and read some tweets. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing patriotism because Minister Minister of State for Health was saying that we should be patriotic and stay back. He also added that the government has, in the last 3 years, released 100% of the health budget. So what they're saying is that the money that was allocated to the health sector was released and implemented. Now, what this means is that they're actually working towards better facilities and obviously better development within the health sector. And with this, maybe we can't see it now, but with this in the next few years, he's advising that health workers within that sector be patient because government is working towards it. I have a call, Oyin from Ojodu. Good morning, Oyin. Thanks for calling. Are you there? Hello, Oyin. Okay, I think we lost that call. So the issue is, yes, we know the health sector hasn't really been optimal in the last few years. But he's saying we are working on it. In the last 3 years, all the 100%, but the amount of money that was budgeted for this sector was released, and we're using the money. And in the next few years, you see difference. So again, the question is, can you stop anybody from leaving?
Of course
Because
not.
these are young people. These are people who are hungry. As you said, they don't even think of themselves. They're thinking about their children. So that's why I said that is a strategy to stop or strategy to attract, to bring back. So somebody who is home, who knows that my children have gone to education, it's because of the children at education. My children, they've graduated. They are now 18-year-old, 20, they are fending for themselves. I have nothing here left. Let me go back home and use my knowledge and resources for Nigeria. What are we doing to attract those ones to come home? Because those are the ones that we need to train those who are here to even develop the skills that they have within the health sector.
So I had a friend who came back after how many years? He was done training his kids and everything. And the first 2 weeks he landed in Nigeria, he fell seriously sick. One of the reasons he fell sick was the fact that the generator of his neighbors were doing boo, 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 boo. He hasn't experienced generator in years. Mosquitoes were everywhere. Everywhere was littered. You know, the life was shocking already in just 2 weeks. And he was saying, are you sure I can stay? Are you sure I did not make a mistake by coming back? Like, nothing. In fact, when he left Nigeria, Nigeria was even better. He said, no, what did you people do to the country? Nothing is working. It was difficult for him. He's still around, managing his health. And the fact that he was able to even get good medical care is that he decided to go to private hospitals so that he can have access to good medical health without anything. There's strike today and there's strike tomorrow and all that affecting it because he came back with some money that he has made there. And he's trying to set up an NGO here to see how he can help vulnerable women and all that. That's somebody who is patriotism. But is the country space done in a way that, is it accommodating to somebody who just comes back? It's not enough. Hold on. It's not enough. I never land my point.
No,
it's not enough to say,
you don't go land that point. No. You don't go land that point. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why you can't land that point.
Why can't I?
Because the truth is that if you expect Nigeria to be exactly where you're coming from, that's a silly expectation.
No, that's what we expect.
That's a very silly expectation.
Okay.
If you're coming from a first world country, first of all, your brain must tell you, I'm going back to Nigeria.
A third world country.
Yes.
That's
where we are realistically. Nobody's trying to front up it otherwise.
Okay.
We are in a third world. Okay. Forget that.
All right.
So we're here the same way Indians go back to their country. India is one of the poorest countries in the world.
Yeah.
And they're smart. They live abroad. They come back to their country and it's like, I'm coming to a poverty-stricken country. No doubt about that. You will see mosquitoes. You will see flood issues. Standard. That shouldn't be your problem.
Okay.
The
What
problem
should
is
be my
coming.
problem?
Your
Come and
problem.
die here.
No. The problem. What I was telling when I traveled. What I was telling Nigerians that listen, what we need, not for you to say, me, Mr. John, I want to come back to Nigeria. I want to go and join an NGO. I want to go and help. That's what we need from you.
So
because you'll be frustrated.
What do we need?
What you need is to form an alliance. Nigerians abroad should come together as a body. The National Commission on the Abacha Dabiri Erewa is helping us in that situation. What you need to do is form a body individually. They were telling me they're too large to do that. Okay. Small is smaller groups.
Small clusters.
Small clusters of Nigerians. Bring your wealth together. Agree on a project. Okay, we were focusing on the southwest. We were focusing on southeast. Okay, we want to do hospital. We want to do the education. Me, I want to do plumbing. I want, focus on a project. Put your funds together. Come home and do something. But if you're coming individually, you'll be frustrated.
Okay, that's
because
one.
Individually, we're all going to be frustrated. Because when you face the reality of Nigeria, you'll be frustrated.
So we've had people who have come in clusters to do something, and they came here, and the policies frustrated them back home, so where they were coming from. Because for you to pass a file, to get this approval, you have to bend this and bend that.
That's not true now. Let's be realistic. That's not true.
This is stories that we hear on a daily basis, and they are frustrated, and they go back. So we need to tighten our belt and do things right. We need to fix ourselves before people will come and help us. We need to start doing the help right now. In your little corner, in your office, do you have files you're supposed to pass in the morning that you're waiting for someone to bribe you before you pass? That's a problem.
Oh, yeah.
Because when I was living in Alabado, the church leader, this Celestial Church, how many times wanted to do the road? They frustrated him. The local government was asking him, he has to pay them first to fix a road that everybody will use. He was here on our show some time ago, and I asked him that question. So what do you expect him to do? That's somebody who's trying to show patriotism. But we ourselves are frustrating
God bless you. Now,
from showing that patriotism. You cannot expect people to come from abroad to come and fix you when you have not fixed yourself. Let us work on ourselves.
Okay, yeah, talk about VC. You're right.
I wanted to add something. Yeah.
So the issue is the system.
Yes.
But who runs the system? Us. We the people.
Yes.
So a government right now can say, okay, I put a policy. For example, I will share this story because I do some work in education. So they give you a tablet. Your job is just show up and work this thing so that the children can have very good education. But some people will just say, they will now start cutting corners with the people again. We frustrate the effort. So if we say government do this, government might do. But with the people, are we ready to do?
Yeah.
So if government says, I'm going to put an enabling environment to attract you home, those on ground, will they ensure that when you come home and you ask for loan, they give it to you? Will they do the job? Is it the same governor that will come into your own office as the PAMSEC or as the secretary to come and carry your paper to the other place? No, it is you and I, with the people. So it's not about fix Nigeria. The government's job is to facilitate, do a policy, do this and do that. You, the people, are the ones who run it. So the man who is very frustrated, it's not frustrated because the government did not do the job, or the government did not do the job. It's frustrated because Mr. John and Mrs. John did not do their job of carrying file to point A to point B. Let me go on a break. When we come back, we'll hopefully move to a different topic. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still discussing. We're going to wrap up on this matter. I think we are all in agreement that we can't stop Nigerians from relocating because really it's their right to say wherever they want to live. We can appeal, as you rightly said, that it's good to appeal to them to stay back. What are the options? And then the government can therefore choose which option is better. Do we try to bring back those who have gone, or do we try to stop those who have gone, appeal to them not to leave? But either way, we also need, from my own end, I feel that all of us must show some kind of sign of patriotism at some level. And you're right, when it starts from the top, when the head is the one that is traveling, going for medical abroad, you are seeing all the opulence here and there. And you feel like, I have small change now. I feel to do my own now. You now do yours. So that now
becomes the life, the culture.
It becomes the culture, where those who now have the little means now replicate that and say, okay, we can do a school in Ghana, I can do that. Because all of us who are also and I forgot to mention this point, those of us who are also schooling abroad, the same thing, you're collecting dollars to go and pay school fees. Guess what? That dollar could have been given to a producer, somebody who wants to, a farmer who wants to
buy maize.
Buy maize. So we are all part of the problem, Nima. Go ahead.
So this is what I would just say to the minister. Create incentives, no matter how little, and be deliberate about those incentives for every sector you consider an emergency. Namibia, in 2017, was already recruiting Nigerian doctors. They know what they pay them in Saudi, and they offer them exactly what Nigerian doctors were getting in Saudi to come and teach in Namibia, in another African country here, a landlocked country. Because health became an emergency.
Yeah.
They didn't have enough trained doctors. They don't even know how to start their universities to start to train their own. So they brought in our own.
That's a strategy, Nima. So Namibians probably couldn't even get their own Namibians abroad back. So they came to recruit the ones. It's possible. It's possible they had that Namibians.
Nigerians still have the best trained. You know where we were coming from.
Yeah.
We watch our best things deteriorate because
Yeah.
of bad policies. And so people who know that we have gold are taking our gold to build their own. Yes. And so before you know it, give Namibia a few years, they will have Namibians trained. They won't need Nigerian doctors anymore. So please build the incentives that will keep a Nigerian doctor who has been trained to love and stay here. Yeah. And so that his life is easy. He will not see anything in going abroad.
Right. Okay, we have to wrap up on this. See your own final thoughts on this.
Let's walk the talk. I want the government to... and let me say this. One of the reasons we are where we are is because it seems like, you know, like when you have a house and you have 2 different pots of soup. You cook the one for Oga and Madam and children. Then you cook a different pot for the house helps, the drivers, the security, you know, and it's separate. Most of the time, you will not pay attention to what goes into that second pot because it's none of your business. You're not the one eating it. So whether there's Maggi, there's salt, it's tasty, it's not, the ingredients are complete, you don't care. That is how the government has been running Nigeria. So they make these policies, but the policies are basically for the poor. And they use a long stick. So, okay, this one, na for now. The healthcare, where will they do? Na for now. The public universities, na for now. Our own children, they special pots. I'm speaking pidgin.
What's na for now?
Na for una.
This one now.
This is for you guys. This is for the poor.
I get that.
Na for una. They're not going to give us our language. So it's for the poor. Na for una. Na for una. Mama Hero is talking this morning. Na for una. Now I'm going on holiday very soon. So if the government decides to say, we all need to be patriotic, and this sport is for everybody, they will pay attention. I've always said that if their children are in public universities, ASU will not be where they are today. If they use the public hospitals will not be where they are. And don't make laws and go and sleep and say, I've made the laws, I've made the policies, I've enforced it, and you are not following through. Nobody does that.
You see, it's so easy. It's so easy for us to say.
Don't tell me it's so easy. You are a leader. Morayo, you are a leader. I am a leader in my own right. And I follow through. I pay attention. I monitor. I get feedback that this is not working, that's not working. I put my head there.
You see,
I put my head there.
Let me throw this question at you. Let me throw this question at you. So let us imagine you're doing very well. You're a business owner. You bring in a lot of thought. And you know, people are saying, you see, you know what? Run into politics. Do something because you've run a successful business.
Yes.
We think you can run a successful state.
Yeah.
And that's it. Run. And then you become governor.
Yes.
Now, your children are still young.
Yes.
Would you now say your children will not travel abroad because now you're governor?
Yes, because I want to serve. See, there are beautiful places in Nigeria. I have gone to almost half of the country. Okay,
education.
That's part of it. Whether it's visit or whether it's education and all that. I went to a public school. Why can't my children go to a public school? Why? I went to a public Delta State University. I studied political science. I went to a public school. So why can't my children go to a public school? So because I now know that my children are going to a public school, I will ensure that the schools are well equipped so that everybody's children can go to a public school. I have chosen, see, the difference is I have chosen to serve. And I will come down from my high horse and serve properly.
Okay. I think that makes a whole lot of sense. I think that's bravo, and I think that's something that our leaders should replicate. It makes a whole lot of sense. That's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, we'll move on to another topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're moving on to a story related to ASU strike. So the National Parent-Teacher Association of Nigeria, that's NAPTAN's PR officer, had said that they were proposing, the parents and teacher were proposing to pay 10,000 naira per session, per parent per session, to assist government in making more funds available to universities. So this is somewhat attempt to meet government halfway. So government is supposed to do their bit. Parents Teachers Association are saying, okay, we also pay 10,000 per parent per session to support you. And many are taking this with mixed feelings that, is it the right thing to do? Is this still patriotism? Or do you think this is just part of frustration of the fact that government and ASU are unable to have an agreement? What are your thoughts on this? Is it a good gesture by the Parents Teachers Association? You can call us on 08127053687, 09139076948. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your TVC so we can read the tweet.
So me, I went to a Nigerian university, and I know that in intervening in ASU and government issue, acceptance fees were created within universities. Once your admission comes out, you have to pay to this university what is called an acceptance fee. And I wondered when I was paying my own. I don't already accept admission. Why am I paying a fee
to accept?
when my school fees is separate? I think it was 10 to 20,000 compulsorily paid by every JAMBite. And now you're saying per session, aside acceptance fee now, parents, this is parents who are suggesting it. Yeah. And I don't know whether they're speaking for all the parents, where they ever had a meeting where all parents were seated. That, additionally, per session now, added to the other cost of fees, they will now be paying a 10,000 assistance fee to government so that ASU never goes on strike. I see the benefit of it. One of the benefits is that government can put these funds together in a fund collection and, target it towards ASU. So we have how many interventions now? Acceptance fee. We have the fund, third fund, which was also an intervention after ASU strike. And now we have the NAPTAN 10,000 fee. Proposal. And I'm thinking, is the issue not administrative? Is the issue about the unwillingness to fund? I remember that at some point, school fees was 14,000 in my 100 level. It was made 25 or 24,000 in my 200 level till I graduated. There's fees for law. So there's no real free education. At some point, they call it subsidized fees. We were paying. But administratively, they will not be able to utilize these funds within universities. UNILAG pulled out of ASU at some point. They refused to go on strike. They survived. Students paid fees and they met all their needs. And UNILAG did not join any of ASU strike for over 5 years till I graduated. Kwara Unilorin pulled out of ASU at some point. They survived. So the issue for me, I welcome the money. Money is good. Nobody rejects money. God forbid.
Nima, let me just ask a question that came to my head.
Is it about additional money or administrative issue?
Let me ask you a question that just came to me while you're talking. You think about paying the true value for education in Nigeria?
At all.
See,
no. So
I said subsidized.
I hear it. Even if we're subsidizing,
well,
do we think Nigerians are paying enough for education?
At all.
Okay, Morales.
So if we're not paying education, how therefore do we expect we also have the high standard of education in our country?
Yeah.
Morayo,
yes,
in the past, the reason we're not paying the full value of education is because we boasted that we are an African giant and we had oil.
Yes.
Where the
depend
oil
on.
Now?
At that time, all other means of production was working.
Eventually suspended.
Eventually suspended, and we got ourselves here where we can no longer subsidize. At that time, everybody was happy going to school, and even then, some parents found it difficult to raise the subsidized amount. We cannot turn our eye. I'm not asking our parents to continue to get it free. I remember how my father paid for 4 children at once in the university. I know how a committed parent will see this. But what I'm saying is it about money or management and administration of the existing funds? Can we go and check how the funds so far has been spent? What exactly is happening? Are the VCs of the schools utilizing the fund? If it is not them, is it from the federal government that we're not getting? Is it the Minister for Education we should be probing? Because if we continue to increase the funds, students will continue to increase, problem will continue to increase. Okay, but if we address problems, the funds are there, and if we need to add funds to them, we will know what we are doing. If it is student loan we want to create, let's create student loan. Let's find a way. BOI is now intervening in business, and yet we still have businesses closing.
Because when I look at private schools, is it Coventry or is it Covenant? Covenant. And I'm thinking how much they're paying for education, how their professors are being paid, the kind of salaries they get, the kind of researches that they are working on. The fact that is it Covenant or Coventry?
Yeah.
is now one of the top 1,000 schools. It made the list.
Yes.
So I'm thinking, whether we like it or not, it's always easy to point fingers, government. But we too. But then we'll come back to, let's go back to this issue of 10,000 naira. They will reply me, I know.
I personally believe we're not paying enough for university education, and that has watered down the university education that we have in this country. I know that we're very brilliant people. Anywhere we find ourselves, we'll do amazing. Does not mean we're getting the quality that we can get, because we have watered it down. We're trying as much as possible to accommodate everybody. In fact, people will tell you, it's not just to get the certificate. Nobody's paying attention to the practicality of that certificate. And that's why they still leave the university system and are not able to write employment letter to submit. They're not able to write anything, most of them that we have, because everything has just been, it's about the paper qualification. I think we need to rejig the educational system in Nigeria and focus on specialization. There are skill schools that can be reopened, or like this. What's this? Colleges of education that handle vocational schools that handle several. So you find where you're from secondary school. You already know you've been counseled. You know where you're supposed to go. You know the sort of skills that you have, so that the professional courses can now be focused solely on in the universities, and people will pay premium to get good quality. That's a long haul. But in the interim now that this our Parental association are saying that they're going to contribute 10,000 naira monthly. This is a parent saying that instead of my children to sit at home, I will squeeze myself. This is what we expect from the government. And parents are taking a lead to say, because they are at the receiving end of this whole thing, that no matter what, we will still squeeze. Maybe if people are complaining that you need money to revitalize. If we squeeze, let us see what we can begin to do. And I don't want them to just pay the money and go to sleep. There must be transparency. We must see what these funds are used for. The labs that are meant to be built, the theaters are meant to be built in the schools, the machineries, the equipment, infrastructure development, the salary increment, we must follow through. So don't just drop money and feel ASU can sort it. It's obvious that ASU can no longer sort it. All stakeholders must be involved. And this should be an ongoing conversation on what needs to be done and how we can do it. I applaud them. If I'm the one, I will even say I can even increase it to 20,000 naira because I don't want my children to sit at home.
Okay, so but what you talked about earlier concerning because I know that this, because I do some work with the government of Lagos State. I know that there's something called comprehensive school. They piloted, I think, is 12 schools, and the government just applied approved for 50 additional schools. So what they did is called comprehensive schools. What they did is that every child that comes into GSS1, when you get to GSS3, as you onward to SS1, you get to choose. Now, for those that are highly academic in nature, they are encouraged to stay on that line so you can do the medicine and everything. For those of you who are struggling, they'll now introduce you to other vocational. So you still, at the end of the day, both of you still do your WAEC at the end of the day.
Yes.
But you do corresponding exams. So you are now doing more of these vocational skills where if it is
to your
talent. Tailored to your talent. And they have different in IT, digital marketing, everything.
You
still learn
jobs.
the basics, but you're not going to be high. It's not going to be highly academic. So at the end of the day, we're still having graduates who are useful to the society. They piloted 12 schools and they're doing 50. So the point is that some work is going on in certain places. But essentially, it's going to be done over time. It's not something that you do at the snap of the finger.
So thank you for bringing that. I wanted to respond to BC that it's not new that government responds to skill development and growth
across the country. Yeah.
Across the country, if you look well, we had Futa and Footmina. They were created in response to things like this, the way the world was growing at the time, technology, and then the lack. I remember that they opened a petroleum institute for the need to get local petroleum workers focusing on expatriation.
At the time.
So they respond like that to certain needs within our environment. But the issue is mismanagement of universities' funds. Over time, you see lecturers wait over a period of time and say they were not paid. There's a Ministry of Education in that school, in that state. There's a Ministry of Education nationally, and they withhold lecturers' funds. Lecturers had to strike. University funds were not coming in. We had intervention funds that were directed to cater for such needs. So now the world is looking at artificial intelligence. They are moving towards tech and other tech things. How many private universities in Nigeria could create COVID vaccine? But we are going there just so that we graduate within the required number of time. There's no special education. So people used to pick universities. I'm saying it.
At least they're not create vaccine. There's not happening
based on specialties in this country. People used to focus. I remember somebody living in Lagos, and I kept saying, why all the way to Mina? I said, the course I want to study is in Foot Mina. It's not in any other university. People used to pick special education, special fields. Yes. And because of that, LASU created Faculty of Transportation or Department of Transportation then, I think, under the... and it was the first in the whole country. And so we had students driving, moving there. The first set of students were taken from their pre-degree foundation. They call it foundation. Then I left university at the time, but I saw them. So I'm saying that they are searching such needs. The difference in private universities and federal or state universities is management of funds. So I am a private business owner. Yeah. I know where I will take money from, and I know how I will pay what. That's all. Yeah. So that's what we are discussing here. The government needs to do more. Okay. And ASU will keep quiet for life. That's all.
Let's take a few comments on social media because we wrap up.
Plenty.
I know that lots of, topics. I think it was Joma Lenitoba was saying earlier. Let me just go back to her comment. She was saying that many parents, her own children are still home. Let me find her message here. You have any comments on social media?
Young Abdul says, I don't think the support levy will work. I think we need to overhaul our education system. Public primary and secondary schools that are free are not up to standard. Parents can contribute to make sure they are up to standard. Festus Akimboewa says, uni is about money because it can't be run on cheap. Parents propose 10,000 naira support levy for universities per session is peanuts. Parents should put their money where their mouth is. UK is now talking about increasing tuition to £24,000 per year.
Yes.
Irene says the government has failed Nigerians. They didn't provide the basic need for the people. The government officials travel for their businesses or health issues. I think they should bring something back or introduce something new to the Nigerian system whenever they travel. And it's true, you should bring some knowledge back.
Okay. Let me take Dr. Arewa. I'll come to you, BC. Dr. Arewa, are you there?
Yes, I'm on
the live. Go ahead, please.
Well, I want to appreciate you for the dimension you are giving to the discussion. But to be on the safer side, I don't think it's the right thing for the parent association to do. All along, if you look at the argument, it has always been ASU advocating for parents. There was a time the university is arguing that the fund should not be paid by individuals. They wanted increasing the fee to almost ₦1 million sometimes ago. And I remember ASU has been arguing that no, a common man should be able to afford this. So now, the pressure on ASU is to declare that parents should start paying tuition fee. If parents start paying tuition fee, the accusation goes back to ASU that where they are the ones who increase the fee. Government can afford education. The problem is priority. People don't, the government is not ready to place their priorities right. Once the priorities are right, other excesses will be thought of and we'll have a quality education. There's no point in intervening, saying it will not be sustained. It's not the fund we're talking about here. It's the administration and the management of the fund that has been released earlier. So I don't think it's the right thing for the parents to say they want to step in. The government should be very careful in handling this kind of matter.
Thank you, Dr. Ario. So that's a different angle. Some might argue that even the budgetary allocation
is not enough.
Education is insufficient to actually meet the needs.
It's a small
and that's why we keep... So there are different layers, and government will tell you, oh, we don't have money. And you say, why are you prioritizing? Is it the renovation of... Revitalization of the National Assembly? Or is it the educational system? So there are various angles to this, but let's take a few more comments on social media.
So Oladidi says, we must realize that subsidized education is no longer sustainable. Full tuition fees are now required. Sam Olu says, if Lagos State is doing what Morayo is saying, that is commendable. Tu Niger says, BC is correct for demanding transparency with all funds ASU receives. This point cannot be overstated. BC Osinaya says, let ASU leave government and start talking to parents instead.
Okay, Relocate says, very true, but is that patriotism? Some stayed behind, but we decided to reward the prodigal sons, that's those that left. If we decide to appeal to those who have left to come back, why are we stopping people from relocating, since those who gather foreign experience are highly recommended. So he's against the minister. That Slim Gas says, patriotism, we can only give back what we have now, but okay, I can't continue with this message.
So BC Osinaya says, the government should, however, know that if universities are sound, we can attract foreign students and make money from them. So we need to, you know, do better.
Oluwambelaye says, if our country becomes our greener pasture, then we won't preach patriotism. I have vowed to give my kids better life like I never had as a kid. So if I see the opportunity to travel out, I will without thinking twice. I will without thinking twice. What has this country done for me to warrant patriotism?
So I get that. That's for you, yourself, and your children. Then what's of the person that can't afford that? So I guess that person is doomed for life. So the point is that when we think, yes, that person last time patriotic. So if we're thinking nationhood, and that's what you're saying, that if you choose to become a leader, there's sacrifices. If we're going to be Nigerians, let us have sacrifices. I have always shared this story that when I was in school with 3 Indians, 2 of them guys, 1 girl. They were helping me in chemistry. One was helping me, I knew Prima, I can't remember their names. These 3 kids were working as I was, and as we were graduating like this, said tomorrow they're going back to India. And I was shocked. They had no business, they're not thinking of employment there at all. Their own was that they're going back to India. So the thing is that there are different layers, but you see, you can't force that from Nigerians. The Nigerians the government must earn it. You must earn that patriotism from your people. How do you do that? Accountability. When you show leadership, we become patriotic. So as the VP now, for example, use our medical services. He's earning people's trust by doing that. Vice President use our hospital.
That's supposed to be normal.
It's supposed to be normal. So as you do more of that, Nigerians feel like, okay, let us believe in this land. Those are brought to want to come back because they feel like, okay, we are all believing in this land. But if all of you are carrying your smart, then before you know it, the president has gone to the UK for medical. Nobody wants to be patriotic.
There's a tweet I would like to take to Immaculate Boy says, relocation should not be tied to patriotism. People relocate for many reasons, and staying in your country doesn't also mean that you're patriotic. It says a reverend father in his secondary school was a secondary school rector, and he came to Nigeria in 1974. He's still here till date. He's not a Nigerian. Is it? He now asked the question: is that person unpatriotic to his country?
Not at all.
So some people are here and constantly cursing. Here. So they're not remaining here because they're patriotic. They are just.
I know also many people over there who are crossing Nigeria. I mean, when they said few words, because somebody had an event and some goods are not coming from Nigeria, and the person was cursing the land that country can never be. And I'm thinking, I'm going back there. This crosses there. I am going back. I am not here. So me, I live there. And this one, you're crossing it as if it's something. So because you've gone, you've escaped. So the rest of us is doomed. No, we are
the leader amongst us, the greatest amongst us, should be able to serve. And that was why Jesus signified it or symbolized it by washing the feet of the disciples. And he said it's not about being, I want to be great, I want to be great, I want to be great. Are you willing to serve? We need leaders who are willing to serve the nation. We need to start looking at them while we are, picking up our PVCs to vote out there tomorrow. People who put the interests of the country first before where they are, who they are, and where they are from. That is what we need. Once we can sort that out, Mariah, you will see that Nigerians are naturally patriotic. We'll be fine.
I think that's a good way to end the show. Thank you very much, ladies. That's all we can take on the show today. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.